Judge County Court Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session with its trial docket. First case that we have on the trial docket is cause number 325-441. That case is styled the state of Texas versus Alex Keith Steele. We have Mr. Steele present in court with his attorney Jansen Bailey. I guess we can see now, Mr. Bailey, what is your announcement in Mr. Steele's case?
Your Honor, Mr. Steele has decided to enter the plea.
Okay. All right. Okay, you may be seated. Next case is, we have two cases, cause numbers 324-437 and cause number 324-865. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Tyler James Tatum. Mr. Tatum, would you please come forward with your attorney?
You just call him. Judge, at this time, we'd ask to hold the announcement. We're discussing something between me and counsel on the DWI. I'm discussed that was the one.
Okay, we're gonna hold.
We're gonna hold at this point.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. Next case is cause number 325096. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Anthony Whitmire. Mr. Whitmire, would you please come forward? Okay, Mr. Whitmire, you can stand on the X. Okay, Mr. Whitmire, how are you doing?
Pretty good, sir. How about you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Whitmire, you are represented in your case by your attorney, Jared Gilthorpe.
Yes, sir.
Where's your attorney?
They said they sent y'all an email this morning when they called me.
Okay. Well, just have a seat. I'm going to try to make contact with Mr. Gilthorpe's office.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next case is cause number 330208. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Demetrius Gerald Wheeler. Mr. Wheeler, would you please come forward? How you doing, Mr. Wheeler? I'm doing fine. Now, Mr. Wheeler, you represented in your case by Attorney John West. Attorney West is appearing via Zoom. Mr. West, how are you doing?
Okay, Your Honor.
State is represented in this case by Attorney Kobe Hopper. Attorney Hopper, how are you doing?
Good, Judge. Thank you.
Now, Mr. West, what is your announcement in Mr. Wheeler's case?
Your Honor, every time we've come up here, we've announced ready, and my client is ready to go forward. However, I have a sick child, and we have to be at the doctor's office at 2:30, I believe, today. So I unfortunately am not ready, and I was told I was number 4, so I thought I was okay, and I could not find a babysitter or someone to take care of the sick kid today.
Okay, right now you're number 3.
Okay.
And we got a case, the number 1 case that's on hold. And we haven't had an announcement on the number 3 case. I mean, on number 2 case.
Right.
Okay. Okay, just
If we could hold, Judge, and talk to counsel. For a second.
okay. We're gonna hold. We'll get back to you.
Sounds good. I'll be here.
Okay.
I'll mute myself and take y'all video, but I'll stay online.
Okay.
I'm gonna call his
Okay.
cell phone if you don't mind, Judge.
Okay, that's fine.
I can talk to him about it.
Okay. Just have a seat. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session, hold on a minute. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 325-441. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Alex Keith Steele. Mr. Steele, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Steele, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Steele, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Steele?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. And Mr. Steele, your full name is Alex Keith Steele. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Steele, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Jansen Bailey. Attorney Bailey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. State is represented in this case by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm blessed, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Steele, I have before me a document that has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about November 23rd of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Steele, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. Steele, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Steele, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Steele, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Steele, there are a set of initials AS that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Steele, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, well, on the same document, but the next page, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Steele, is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that is titled Trial Court Certification, the Defendant's Right of Appeal, Mr. Steele, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled
Yes, sir.
Defendant? There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Also, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Steele, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled
Yes,
Defendant?
sir.
Mr. Steele, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Bailey, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Steele, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State Officer Stage 1.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Bailey, you've advised and counseled Mr. Steele. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Steele, your attorney, Mr. Bailey, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Steele, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, and I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state has recommended that the court defer adjudicating guilt at this time and instead place defendant on community supervision for 18 months. Require defendant to complete 70 hours of community service. There's no fine attached to this plea agreement, Your Honor, but we ask that the standard DWI conditions of probation include an interlock device, DWI education course.
Mr. Bailey, is that the offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Steele, the state is offering, let's see, let me do this here before it's no fine, right?
No, fine.
Correct.
Okay. I need to add up this, court costs is. Is that the right court? 907?
I haven't added.
Hmm.
So it says in the financial plan.
Yeah, that's what it says.
The inflation?
Let
So you did have.
me. I need to. 60. See, he says 15 months probation,
18.
18.
Yes, sir.
You guys carry the one. I guess if it's 4 years old, $1,000.
Oh, I'm not sure. Basically. It's just the whole use of the breakdown. We'll do this part. System. I'm looking.
Okay. Now, Mr. Steele, the state is offering that you serve 18 months of deferred adjudicated probation. During the 18-month, well, first of all, let me do this here. Now, this offense occurred, hold on, let's back up, I think it's December. This offense was after September 1st of 2019. And let's be specific. I think it's, hold on, I got it right here.
Yeah.
Here it is. It's November 23rd of 2019. So that's on or after September 1st of 2019, which is the statute that allows an individual to be eligible for deferred. So it's after that particular date. Now, do you have a CDL?
No, sir.
Okay, so you have a regular driver's license,
No,
that's
sir.
check. And blood, the BAC was below 0.15.
Yes, sir. I believe it was a point. 133.
Okay, so you meet the eligibility requirements for the to be given deferred adjudicated probation. That's why I was asking those questions. Now, their state is offering that you serve 18 months deferred adjudicated probation. During the 18-month probationary period, you will not be required to pay a fine. However, you will be required to pay court costs in the amount of $907. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, or your analysis fee of $15 each month. And you'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DW education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $133 a month. Will you be able to pay the $133 each month?
Sure.
Okay. Now, you also be required to perform 70 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete the DWI education class, have a drug and alcohol assessment, and you'll be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms of this probation. Mr. Steele, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Steele, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Steele, because this is a deferred adjudicated probation case on violation of condition of deferred adjudication community service imposed under Article 42A.104, you may be arrested, detained, or provided by law. You are entitled to a hearing limited to the determination by the court of whether to proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge, and the court may not proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge if the court finds that the only evidence supporting the alleged violation of a violation of your condition of deferred adjudicated probation was an uncorroborated results of a polygraph exam. The determination to proceed with adjudication of guilt on the original charge is reviewable in the same manner as a revocation hearing conducted under Article 42A.751D in a case in which the defendant of guilt was not deferred. Now, Mr. Steele, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. And you can talk to your attorney, Mr. Bailey, about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent on those matters. Now, Mr. Steele, you just have a seat in the gallery, and it's going to take a few minutes for her to do the paperwork. And once she finishes the paperwork, she'll ask you to come up to the window. And once you follow her directions, you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Bailey, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that comfortable? Your Honor,
Court is back in session in cause number 325-441, case of style of the state of Texas versus Alex Keith Steele. Mr. Steele, previously sworn in, Mr. Steele entered a plea of guilty to the charge of driving, the Class B misdemeanor charge of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Steele acknowledged that his signature and initials were on State's Exhibit 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. He also acknowledged that his signature was on the trial court certification to defendant's right of appeal. And he also acknowledged that his signature was on the discovery certification. Mr. Bailey acknowledged that there's no evidence that Mr. Steele is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial. Mr. Steele acknowledged that he was satisfied with the services of his attorney who provided fully effective and competent legal representation. The state offered in this case, well, the court made a finding that the court found that and accepted his plea of guilty. The court found that he was mentally competent to stand trial. Court also found that Mr. Steele pleas and waivers was freely and voluntarily given, and that there was sufficient evidence to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In the state offered Mr. Steele 18 months deferred adjudicated probation with no fine plus court costs. The court is correcting the court costs. In this case, the court previously stated that the court cost was $907. However, the court cost in this case is $422. The probation fee that Mr. Steele will be required to pay $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and he's also required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $125. Should a full evaluation be needed, he'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, Mr. Steele's monthly installments, that is the total amount that he will be required to pay each month, in this case is $104 a month. Mr. Steele, will you be able to pay the $104 a month?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the court is making a correction. It's not 132, it's not 133, it's $104 a month. And Mr. Steele, you'll still be required to perform 70 hours of community service. You'll have to attend and complete a DWI education class, have a drug and alcohol assessment, and you'll be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. Now, Mr. Steele, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
You think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Steele, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. And as mentioned earlier, Mr. Steele was previously advised as to the consequences of violating the terms and condition of his deferred probation. He was also advised that if he successfully completed the terms and conditions of probation, he may qualify for a non-disclosure, and that he can talk to his attorney, Mr. Bailey, about a non-disclosure because he's quite competent on those matters. And so, Mr. Steele, our clerk is doing the paperwork. Just have a seat in the gallery. And once she finished the paperwork, she'll ask you to come back up to the window to follow her directions. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go on your blessed day. And Mr. Bailey, you'll be free to go as well on your blessed day.
right.
Mr. West,
Three fingerprints.
Three thumbprints, your right thumb,
y'all,
just like this. Or give it pat again.
yeah, John,
Yes, Your Honor.
yeah, your case is up.
We're going to request a continuance, Your Honor. Like I said, I'm about to get my little one dressed to go to the doctor right now. I'm in the bedroom about to dress her at the moment. So
Well,
I'm going to request a continuance.
And I got a picture.
okay. We got a jury here. I mean, we could have them come back tomorrow. I
Oh,
mean,
that would be fine. I would be happy to do that.
Okay. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
That would be good for me.
Okay, let's do this. We only have a few cases on the docket tomorrow. We may have to get the jury down here at 10 o'clock.
10? Okay.
Okay, hold on a minute.